Ladies and gentlemen, Mephisto in my Ironheart, it's more likely than you think. For this is a Fred Bailey Productions podcast.
Mephisto confirmed.
Mephisto
confirmed.
confirmed!
We finally meet.
5
Like,
years. 5
God,
years.
we've waited for 5 years and it's finally happened. Cue the music.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me you built a time machine? Kind of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it some style?
Who is this? What's your operating number?
Boring conversation anyway.
Look, we're gonna have company! Loud noises!
Hello.
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 I'm Kendall Richardson.
I'm a Fulya and
And I'm the season flu version of a Michael Lister.
Yes, and you are now experiencing a podcast called Fred.
Yes, experiencing it through the mediums of low energy, but also hype. Hype, I guess. Hype. I am the
Yes.
hype.
There
Hype
is-
man.
Hype man, there is a lot of hype in the podcast throughout, and some definite low points that we will be getting to. But first, it's time for the weekly watchings.
Mhm.
Hello, Fulya, take us through.
Hi. So, I want to start off with my MasterChef watch through is still going as usual. So that's fine. But I did actually get around to watching some other stuff. So first off, I finally got around to watching the final season of Young Sheldon, which is now available on Max. And I didn't realize that season 6 wasn't the last season, but the way that it ended, I'm like, I feel like there should be a season 7. So when I found out that there was a season 7, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I have to go back and watch that now. So I started watching season 7 of Young Sheldon, and I'm only a few episodes in, but it's going really well. And I already know that there is a spin-off show for Sheldon's brother, and it's I forgot the name, but the brother's name is Georgie, and there's a spin-off show with him and his we'll say baby partner, because him and this girl they had a baby together, so now they're raising a family.
Ah, cute.
Yes. And yeah, they essentially decided to do a spin-off series with them, which means that I'm gonna have to go and watch that now to find out what's going on with that side of the family. So, the Big Bang Theory lore continues with Sheldon and his family. But it's good fun. It's it's funny, a lot of family drama, which is always good fun. So yeah, Young Sheldon season 7 is the first thing I want to mention. The next thing I want to mention, and this is probably going to be a bit of a low point.
Oh no.
Because it was also something I watched on Max.
Oh no.
And I think Michael has watched this as well. I'm pretty sure he mentioned it. I watched a Minecraft movie.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I sacrificed my 90 minutes to watch this damn movie because I was very curious.
And
I should have checked the version of the movie I was watching, because I ended up watching the Block Party version.
okay, explain.
So there's the original, just the one that you see at the theaters version that I didn't realize. I thought that was the one I was clicking on and watching.
Okay.
I didn't
Right.
realize there were two options. The Block Party version has in-movie captions where it counts down to the reference and boom, reference in captions.
Oh, vomit.
Yeah.
Who is that
Mm.
for? Who have they made that for? That's
I don't
what?
know.
What the hell?
It's for the memes. It's for the memes.
Oh.
Like, I knew the movie wasn't gonna be great. It just in general. But the fact that I ended up watching this block party version on Max, which I didn't realize I was watching, so I should have paid a bit more attention to what I was clicking on. Yeah, it made the movie worse. Worse than what it already is.
Oh no, that is the worst thing I've heard all day. That's so bad.
Every freaking reference. It counted down from 3 and then gave the reference in full caption, and it was all in green, and I hated it so much.
I'm gonna see.
I
if
was
there's, like, a clip of it somewhere.
I was watching this movie thinking, oh yeah, I'll get a little giggle out of it, and I'll see all the references being pointed out to me just in general. But yeah, don't watch the block party version if you just want to have a laugh, because that's just going to ruin it for you. Like, big time.
Oh my god. Yeah,
I
that
even
sounds
I
terrible.
reviewed it on my Letterboxd. I gave it a 2. And that's being generous.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Okay. Well, you know what? I commend you for falling on the sword there.
Yeah.
You are braver than I. I'm
Mhm.
no.
I
I'm
will
still
never
mad
do that to
about-
myself again.
I'm still mad at the chicken jockey bullshit, so I'm not there. Oh, I can see the
Yeah.
numbers counting down. Chicken jockey appears on the
Yep.
screen with all this
Yep.
exclamation points. Yeah, that
Mhm.
looks annoying as hell.
Yep.
Oh,
I suffered through all that.
fuck me, man.
And that was my own stupidity for not paying attention to the title that I was clicking on.
No, but you know what you've done though. You're a martyr. You have taken one for the team, and you have told the world that there is a worse version of this movie out there that needs to be
Yep.
avoided at all costs.
Yep.
So
You're welcome.
we salute you. Jesus.
You're welcome.
Oh,
So there is that.
okay.
But let's bring it up a bit to the last thing I want to mention. That was 10 million times better. And it was something that me and Kendall went to see last night. We went to see Hades Town, the musical, and holy crap, was that an awesome experience. I loved that show. The music is living rent-free in my head. I was even listening to the soundtrack on my way home on the train last night. I freaking loved it so much. It was so good. I loved all of the different, like the lore building and the world building, the characters that they use. It's based off of ancient Greek mythology lore about Hades and Persephone and Orpheus and Eurydice, and that whole thing, but put into a sort of southern New Orleans flavor of like music and style and like blues and jazz music, and just it was so good. You know, indie rock, and yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal. I am so glad that my friend from America recommended me go see this show, and I am super glad I did. It is so good. It is. I 100% recommend everybody go see this if you can. Right now, it's still running in Melbourne at Her Majesty's Theatre until next weekend. So there's like one more week left of it being, being able to go see it. And then I'm not sure where they're going next. I think they might be going to Sydney potentially. I'm not 100% sure. So just double check your cities, I suppose. But yeah, no, Hades Town. Absolutely recommend checking it out. If you can't check it out, listen to the soundtrack. It's available on your streaming service of choice, I suppose, Spotify, YouTube Music, whatever. It's there. Listen to it. It is amazing. I loved it so much. I really wanted to. I want to experience all that again. But the actors that their performances on stage were on point. It was so good. Me and Kendall realized that we ended up with alternative actors for certain characters. And they're not and they were both like not the non-regulars. I think they were like usually part of the ensemble or whatever. They had to do a bit of a change up with some of the actors, so that was interesting. But yeah, no, it was still good regardless. Like, I don't care. It was amazing. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Great experience.
Definitely still got the song stuck in my head, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I want to listen to it again.
And again and again and again and
Yep.
again and again.
Yep. Yeah. Ended on a high for this week, but that's pretty much all I've been watching this week. Yay!
Yay! Hell yeah! Thanks, Fulya.
You're welcome.
Mike, what about you? What have you been watching?
Hello. Well, coming off last week, I finished Squid Game. Finished all of Squid Game, and there's no more Squid Game. Or is there? Spoilers.
Spoilers, sweetie.
Or backdoor pilot. Yeah. Should have stayed with it should have been just one, but money talks, and they want to continue this because it's a big win for Netflix. So they want to continually doing this, or they try. And yeah, it's interesting scenarios of where they take it. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, Kendall.
I'm up to date. I finished.
I finished. Okay.
Yeah, I'm done.
I haven't seen a fake baby like that since Twilight.
Fake baby? What?
Fake baby?
Yeah, there's a CGI baby. It was better than the. It was better than the fake baby in Twilight, but
yeah.
only and not only because the technology has improved since then. But still, the uncanny, the valley was very uncanny anyway.
Yeah, and also the sort of, and speaking as someone who's had a baby, there's certain things that really you're gonna there's no poopage. There's no, the baby doesn't poop. Baby doesn't cry.
I'm sorry?
During the night. You know, babies do what they babies do. It's a well-behaved baby.
It's a It's a plot baby.
It's a plot
baby.
It's a plot baby. Yeah.
It's a very lucky baby too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Well, better than the baby that I saw last week of in train spotting. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah. No babies on the ceiling.
No. All turning blue.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm glad it's finished and it was enjoyable, I guess. But I probably need to rewatch it, like season 2 and season 3, as I say, it is a continued story. So I want to see if I probably need to watch that like continuously, because when I was going into it, it's like, okay, where are we again? Like I've watched too much stuff to actually pay attention to. Okay, where are we up to? What are these characters and what are their motivations? And yeah. So it'll probably be better another rewatch, I reckon. So further down the track, I reckon, because there's a lot more stuff to watch. Like I'm actually starting to reintroduce myself into One Piece again. So I've been watching every now and again a One Piece episode, and they're very easy digestible, and also considering that they do a lot of like filler and recount everything, so I can just jump back in even having a month off. So that's been good. So that's been good. Also, I've finished The Bear season. What are we up to? 4 now. Yeah,
season 4.
What about you, Kendall? How
Yes,
much can I divulge?
You can divulge all of it. I'm done. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I finished it today. Considering that we're not going to talk about it in the news, so I can talk about it here. It's been greenlit for a season 5.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I thought, okay, how does this end? And it sort of ended like I was thinking, but they're going to continue the story. And I'm not sure if I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. That's
considering a character just quit. It's like, I'm not doing it anymore. It's like, yeah, I understand that. I thought that was going to be the ending of the entire show. But
Agreed.
They're still continuing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's the plan?
Okay. So, yeah. So, The Bear's good. It's good television. It's good atmospheric sort of scenario. A lot of sitting with you and conversations between two characters is great, and I love seeing actors going through the motions with each other and actually reacting to what's been happening. I like that, but it's starting to do it more and more, and it's sort of losing its charm in a way.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's why I always love going back to like just the season 1, because season 1 is just lightning in a bottle,
Perfect.
Storm in a jar, and it's like that's great. And I really enjoy episode 7. I always go back to episode 7.
It's so good.
Yeah, and probably my close favorite is probably the Christmas episode with the family.
Same. Yeah, 100%. They're like the 2 episodes when I think of The Bear. I think of those episodes the most.
Yeah,
for sure.
And with this, there's no real episode that's like a standout, and they're sort of losing that. I think the biggest thing in this is they've introduced a ticking clock, which is a narrative driven thing, but it's a literal clock. And I thought, I see what you're doing. It's annoying, but you know, move it forward. And yeah, probably the standout episode is probably the wedding episode, which I enjoy, but I've seen it before, and I really enjoy the cameo characters that come in. Like,
yeah,
I wasn't expecting Rob Reiner or Brie
no,
Larson.
I know. Yeah,
I was like, what are you guys doing here? Yeah. So, yeah, where does it go from here? I was under the impression that this was going to be the ending season, but
same.
Obviously, they've got more to do. So, I'll be here in another 2 years. If the cast isn't too busy. Probably my standout character, my favorite character in this season is probably Sydney. Like, her story and what she had to go through. It did make me cry. It made me cry every time, and it's enjoyable for the sense of watching actors act, and I highly recommend it. And hopefully they will. I don't know. Is it going to continue until forever? I hope not. I like the one and dones. I like a story that knows where it's going to finish.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's going to finish. They're going to continue it. It's like, come on, you can't tread water for this long. It needs an ending. and I thought there was going to be the ending, but no, it's going to be more. It's like,
Mhm.
and then Kami's going to realize this. No, I need to be with. I don't know. Overall, I'd probably give it a 3.
Okay.
Just an enjoyable, and they dumped it all in one go. It's like, okay, fine. What about you, Kendall? What have you been watching? Even though I know you've watched Squid Game and The
and Hades Town.
and Hades Town, and yeah.
Yeah,
Besides
yeah,
them,
yeah.
what else?
I have one thing besides them to mention, which I'm going to save for last to build
Ooh,
suspense. Surprise. Yeah. So yeah, Hades Town. I'll start there. Yes, everything Fully says is true. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. I'm very glad I got to see it. Because yeah, it's an original musical. And the music is amazing. It's a Tony Award-winning show. It's a Grammy Award-winning show. And you can see why when you watch it. And I love Greek mythology, like learning about the Greek gods and all their stories in high school was like one of my favorite things. Because the Greeks invented theater. They invented storytelling. In that sense of like being like creating these big. Okay, I take it back. They didn't really invent storytelling, but like we take a lot of inspiration from the Greeks, obviously, in terms of telling stories and telling plays and doing all this stuff. Like a lot of that began with them. So it's just really cool to see when it's then flipped on its head and interpreted in a different way in a more modern context. And yeah, it was really, really cool. I loved most of it. Like yeah, it was just great. Like it was fun, it was entertaining, it was humorous, it was sad. I mean, it's a tragic story. Eurydice and Orpheus does not have a happy ending. They do not end up together. Spoilers. The- but it's
Spoilers for something that's over 2,000 years old.
yeah. Spoilers for something that's very, very freaking old. But as I loved how like Hades Town has a very poignant ending. I won't say exactly what it is, but like it's tragic, but it's poignant and bittersweet, but it's nice. And yeah, and I just loved I think my favorite thing was the staging, to be honest. The way they use the set. Um, they have, I feel like Hamilton popularized the rotating stage thing, but they have that sort of as a device, and it's used really effectively. Lighting, especially, is used to great effect, whether that's a lack of light or a blast of it, and smoke as well. Like it was staged beautifully, and like especially because they have these moments where they're, excuse me, transitioning between the world above and the world below, and what that looks like in representation on a stage was just really clever and really kind of sucks you in. So that was really cool. So yeah, and it was just funny because the show has a few fourth wall breaking moments. But then they also managed to put the wall back up very effectively. So it's really well done. And I have to shout out Christine Arnoux as Hermes, Mrs. Hermes. She was excellent. I was a fan of hers when I was a kid, so it was really cool to see her in the flesh and hear her sing. And like Fulia said as well, like we had a couple of understudies. Excuse me, some of the actual, like the other cast, the other players in the cast stepped up into the bigger roles for our performance, and I wouldn't have known if we didn't notice all the photos in the foyer or whatever that had different actors, and like, that's a bit strange. Yeah, I don't know if they usually, sometimes they advertise when roles are going to be portrayed by different actors, but I didn't see any advertisement. But then again, we kind of, when we got there, we went in and straight into our seats, so we probably just missed it. But yeah, it didn't matter. It was still incredible. So yeah, so like Fulia said, if you can, go see Hades Town, go see where it's going to be next. If it's playing somewhere near you that you can get to, it's definitely worth a trip to go see. That's for sure. Excuse me now. I'm not sick, but I can't stop coughing. This is nice. Cool. Yeah, Squid Game. I guess I'll go into next. Finished Squid Game, and yeah, I think I'm one of the only people who's not hating it as much as everybody else. Because a lot of the internet are very unhappy. A few people I've spoken to at work. I had a chat with a couple of my work colleagues earlier in the week, and they didn't like it at all. So I was expecting some better payoff for certain characters. Just in terms of, you know, what they built up in season 2 then didn't really get paid off adequately in season 3. They could have done with more episodes. They also should have built this as like you said, Mike, it's a continuous story. They should have really just built it as season 2 part 1 and season 2 part 2 instead of calling it season 3, because I feel like that's, I don't know, like it's a small detail, but I feel like it matters, if that makes sense. But even then, still, they should have just dropped it all of this at once at Christmas last year. I mean, I think didn't they release season 2 in 3 parts? Am I remembering that correctly, or am I thinking of Cobra Kai and getting my wires crossed? Anyway,
I think Cobra Kai.
Yeah, I'm Cobra Kai. Yeah, another Netflix show. Anyway, they should have just dropped it all at once, I think, because you know, episode 2 of season 3 is the best episode in this whole season, because it's just the one game for like 95% of the runtime of the episode, and it was incredible. And I cried so much because a lot of a lot of our good guy characters died, and that was upsetting. But then that also, I feel like, I don't know, maybe worked against the show, because then after that, it's like, well, who are we rooting for apart from Gi-hun, you know, because he's our protagonist. But even then, like, you know, he doesn't want to be there anymore. His story is very, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so it was fine. It was fine. The ending was, yeah, I was sad. I was very sad. I cried even more at the ending. But there were certain parts of it that I enjoyed, but I didn't get as annoyed as everybody else did. I was just like, okay, no, I liked it. I wanted it a little bit more, but I think it was okay for what they did. They probably could have done it better, but yeah. I also didn't expect a certain Australian actress to show up in the final scene. that was wild.
Unfortunately,
no
I fell
spoilers.
asleep.
Oh, you fell asleep?
Yeah, I went, okay, certain person won. Okay, I can fall asleep now. Oh, my body
Oh,
did.
and you missed the rest of it.
Is that, wait, there's more?
Yeah.
What is this, Return of the King? How many endings do you need?
There's like many endings. Yeah, moving on to The Bear. I agree with a lot of what you said, Mike. However, I will say that the last episode, I think, was probably the standout of the whole season, because it just took place in one location, and it was just these characters coming in one after the other. It felt like a play. It felt like we were watching like a play, like it wasn't a TV show anymore. And I like your comment too about how it's just really great to watch this show, just to watch what the actors do, because this really feels like an actor's show. Like, and I can see why so many people are drawn to be it and want to be on it, or, you know, they ask so many of these actors to cameo and stuff. Because of course they'd say yes. Like, getting to perform this dialogue and interact with these other players just seems like a dream for any performer. Yeah, but I will say too that there are certain scenes when I'm watching it and I'm going, I feel like they're now being showy because they can. Like you said, the earlier stuff feels more natural, but now it's like, okay, we're the bear. We have to be artsy fartsy for a few scenes, and then we put some comedy in there, and then we go back to the artsy fartsy. Like, there's just, I feel like they've backed themselves into a corner with what they have to do. I don't know. It just felt, some of it felt forced. to me. And there wasn't a lot of comedy in the last season. Excuse me. There were a few scenes, obviously, that were funny. Like the wedding episode was very funny in a lot of parts, and I loved how they all ended up under the paywall. That was really sweet. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of laugh out loud moments. Yeah, that's fine. People need to realize that I think this show is not really a comedy, and they need to stop nominating it in the comedy character category at the Emmys. But I suppose they'll just keep doing that. Yeah. Sydney, great. She's becoming the main character of the show, I think. There's definitely a transition obviously happening, without spoiling too much, but maybe I just did. I don't know. But yeah, she went through a lot and she had such a completely understood her struggle. I really liked the episode with her and her cousin's daughter. I think it was her cousin, when she was going to get her hair done, and they had that bonding sort of thing. I thought that was really sweet. But yeah, there's a lot to love in there still in the Bear. I think I like this season more than season 3, to be honest. I remember excuse me, I remember being a bit so season 3, and season 4 definitely. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a really good watch. Also, give Jamie Lee Curtis, give her more awards, please, because that second last episode when it's just close up on her and she's just fucking giving it every bit of emotion as she apologizes to her son, and I'm just sitting there crying because I'm just like, I wish my mum would say this to me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I was just like, fucking hell. It was a powerhouse performance. So she's I'm just gonna hand her an Emmy already and a Golden Globe. Just give it all to her. Anyway, one more thing. The surprise. I watched The Monkey, which is a horror film directed by Osgood Perkins, who directed Longlegs, and it's based on a Stephen King short story. I missed this at the cinemas, excuse me, but it's now obviously available for digital rentability. So me and the boyfriend rented it online, and I loved it from start to finish. It's weird. It's fucking funny. And the kills are so over the top. It felt like a Final Destination without, death as the villain, except it's this toy monkey banging his drum. Creepiest fucking toy monkey of all time. If you've seen the posters for the film, you'll understand. Monkey is creepier in the movie. I'm happy to say. But yeah, I was just I thought it was great. Theo James, I have to shout him out. He's the lead. He plays the adult version of the twin brothers. These two twin brothers that are at the core of the story, and he plays both versions. And actually, also should shout out the actor who played the younger versions of the twins as well. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he did a really good job because I couldn't tell that he was the same person. They did a really good job with his performance and his hair and makeup and stuff. Like, he looked like two people, so it was really impressive. But yeah, Mike, you need to watch it if you haven't already.
I watched it in the cinema.
Amazing. Yeah, I loved it. I was so happy. I was I was annoyed I missed the reactions from everyone when someone else died in the most hilarious of fashion. It was bonkers. Yeah, I definitely recommend. I want to read the short story now as well. I need to find it and read it. Stephen King. It's great. So yeah, if you like horror and kind of dark, twisted, comedy-ish horror, then yeah, The Monkey is definitely one you should check out. But it's not for the faint of heart.
Something for Fulya.
Fulya would not like this movie. Yeah. Some of the goriest I've seen a lot of horror. Some of the goriest deaths, I think, there's a couple in there that I was just like, oh, okay, I'm taking that with me for a few years. So,
And no, thank you.
but I recommend it to anyone who is interested, based on my zany description. And that's my weekly watchings. So we're done with that now. Which means now we have to be sad for a few minutes as we get into the nerdy news.
This is the news in nerdy news. The nerds that talk about the nerdy news. That is us who talk about the news that is nerdy. And now the queen of nerdydom, the hostess with mostest, Kendall Richardson. Take it away, Kendall.
Okay, it's nerdy news time. And yes, starting things sad. Because it's been a bit of a shocking week. In terms of losing talented artists that we've respected and admired on screen, and off screen. There's a few other people that have passed that I'm not mentioning because I don't want to get this too depressing. But the two main ones that I wanted to pay respects to on the podcast are, of course, Michael Madsen, who left us this week, age 67. It's funny. When I think of him, I think still. I mean, that movie was a part of my childhood. And yeah, I loved watching it, and he's great in it. That was the first time I'd seen him in anything. And I was really taken by his presence, and he's an attractive man as well. So as I got older and rewatched it, I was like, oh, I don't like Jesse anymore. I like his dad. But yeah, he was great in that film. And then the next thing I saw him in after Free Willy was Michael Jackson's "You Rock My World" music video. He plays like a sort of a gangster sort of guy. Marlon Brando is in that, and he plays sort of this top dog, not Godfather, but sort of like a Tony Montana sort of like kingpin person. And Michael Madsen plays one of his cronies in that, and so he like has some interactions with Michael in the video, and it's fun to watch. But more recently, I was introduced to his work with Tarantino. Now, I'd seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Hateful Eight. He's in both of those. But I hadn't yet watched the classics that are Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill 1 and 2. And I have watched them. And I watched them a couple of months ago. My partner and I, he showed me them because he's a massive Tarantino fan. And I'd always wanted to watch these movies. I never had. So we kind of had a mini Tarantino marathon, I suppose. And yeah, Reservoir Dogs blew my mind a bit. It was great. I think I've appreciated it more as time has gone on. And especially for Michael Madsen's performance in that film. Like that kind of, like one person in a tribute to him said, I'd argue his work in this one scene from Reservoir Dogs birthed Tarantino's whole career. Because he has probably the most iconic scene in the whole film, as Mr. Blonde. Like, he's dancing to Stuck in the Middle with You. Yeah, it's just, like, it's iconic. It's an iconic piece of cinema. Yeah, and I'm really glad to have finally watched it. And then, yeah, of course, he has a smaller role in Kill Bill, but he's there nonetheless. Yeah, so I was really, definitely sad to hear of his passing. And then I wake up yesterday and I'm walking into work and I open my phone and it's next news that Julian McMahon has passed away. And that one hit me a lot harder. And not only because he's Australian, he's one of us. He's the son of a prime minister, but he is a local boy, went on to do some good and play a role in forming my love for because him as Cole on Charm was like mind blowing to me and to most of my friends who watched the show. I was obsessed with Charmed when I was in high school, and him and Phoebe were like, oh my god, the best on screen couple, and their chemistry with he had with Alyssa, like, just so palpable. Like you believed it. Their love was so real. Like it was just insane. And yeah, he gives a fantastic performance, and like he'd that was kind of one of his. Well, I suppose it's probably one of his big roles that kind of broke him in to Hollywood. Because after that, of course, he played Doctor Doom in the two Fantastic Four films in the 2000s with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba. I remember him being very good. I keep meaning to rewatch those films. I'm probably not gonna get around to it before the new one comes out, but all I remember about him in that is that A, he was good in the role. I remember enjoying it, and B, he was better than the Doctor Doom version in Fan Four Stick that they did 10 years later. So we'll always have that. But yeah, most people know Julian, I think, more recently from his award-winning work in Nip Tuck. And then recently he was on the show FBI Most Wanted, and in his last television role he was actually on Netflix in the show The Residents, where he played, ironically, an Australian Prime Minister. So yeah, so it's really, really sad that he's passed away. Yeah, and I teared up reading Alyssa Milano's tribute to him yesterday. It was very moving and very upsetting, and just it's, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors with people and the struggles that they're going through, and he's clearly a very brave human being, and he's going to be missed. They both are going to be missed, but they're definitely leaving a huge legacy behind that will ensure that they will not be forgotten. So okay, before I wallow in sadness and grief too much longer, Fulya, um, I don't know how much of Michael or Julian's work you've seen over the years, but do you have any thoughts to share on the passing of these two active titans?
I unfortunately don't know them from very much. I don't think I've seen anything that they've been in more specifically. I mean, Julian McMahon was in Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, and I have watched that, but I don't really remember the character very well. He was only in it for a few episodes, and I think with Michael Madsen, I believe I've seen the Hateful Eight. That, back in the day. Again, don't really remember much of the character, but yeah. I like they both have, a big list of credits for all of the projects that they've done in the past, so they definitely will be missed for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Mike, yeah, I'm sure you've probably got a few to say about these two talented actors. How are you feeling about their passing?
Yeah, it definitely bummed me out because I do like Pulp Fiction, and I always tease my wife that scene. She's like, "Don't tell me that, ew," and it's like, "No, it's fun." And I like putting.
Oh,
that
you mean
song on
Reservoir
and-
Dogs? Yeah.
Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, you said Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, it's one of them too.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify. Anyway,
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah. Yeah, it is sad, and wait, what am I doing? Sorry, I'm out of it. Yeah. He was also in Species as well, which I saw not too long ago, and that's a weird film, and weird and stupid. But I suppose it's got its fans, I guess. And yeah, Julian McMahon, that's sad. Yeah, definitely saw him in as Doctor Doom. My wife's a big Nip Tuck fan, so she's quite upset at the news. And yeah, I've been meaning to watch on Stan the Nicolas Cage movie The Surfer.
Same.
Because he's in that as well. And because I've only like sort of seen him in roles that he has an American accent, and then all of a sudden he's got an Australian accent. It's like, wait, what? It's one of those things. He was also in a movie not too long ago called no, not Pineapple Express. It's an Australian film that hold on. I'll have a.
You looking it up?
I'll have a look see.
Okay, you have a look see.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was an interesting film. It's about Australia in the 70s, and it's about these a group of people in I think somewhere in Queensland, and it's like certain families, and they have it's weird. They have an orgy, and then it's sort of but the problem is it also has a story with the kids as well.
Oh, I found it. Swinging Safari.
Swinging Safari, that's it.
Yeah.
Something I watched a while back and thought maybe this should have been a TV show because there was a lot in it, and that had a big cast in it. It had Kylie Minogue and David Wenham and
Jack Thompson.
Yeah, and the big Act 3 in it is there was a whale beached, and they had to try and get rid of it, and also had this it's a weird film. I probably would recommend it because it's an Australian film, but unfortunately it had the problems with having too much to do and not really focused on anything. That's why it sort of felt like maybe it was a TV show first, and then as a we'll make it into a film.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find it. Where is it?
Where is it?
That's it. Yeah, like the main characters is the kids, but all the marketing was for the adults. So I thought, it's kind of misplaced of where it was meant to be focused on, and kind of an interesting film. Stephen Elliott is director writer, and it had Guy Pearce in it as well, so that makes sense. He was the husband of Kylie Minogue's character, which had like 10 kids. They're like the interesting. So yeah, they will be missed, and sadly missed, and yeah.
You do.
Anyway,
we will move on. I would say usually, lift things up a bit, but this next item in the news has me a little concerned, but hopefully not too concerned. It was announced this week that Neil Druckmann, one of the creators of the game The Last of Us and co-showrunner of the HBO adaptation of the game, he's leaving the TV show. He will no longer be co-showrunner Craig Mazin is going to be writing solo now as they head into production on season 3. There's a statement that Neil put out through Naughty Dog, which is the company behind The Last of Us. And he says the following: I've made the difficult decision to step away from my creative involvement in The Last of Us on HBO. With work completed on season 2 and before any meaningful work starts on season 3, now is the right time for me to transition my complete focus to Naughty Dog and its future projects, including writing and directing our exciting next game, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, along with my responsibilities as studio head and head of creative. Co-creating the show has been a career highlight. It's been an honor to work alongside Craig Mazin to executive produce, direct, and write on the last 2 seasons. I'm deeply thankful for the thoughtful approach and dedication the talented cast and crew took to adapting The Last of Us Part 1 and the continued adaptation of The Last of Us Part 2. So yes, I think it's a very well crafted statement, and I just really hope that nothing bad happened behind the scenes. But I don't think that's the case, because the two were doing a podcast together about the show that I haven't listened to yet. Bloody what's his name? Who's the voice actor? Troy Baker. Is it Troy Baker? Yeah. So Troy Baker, Craig Mazin, and Neil Druckmann have been doing this podcast along, like a companion podcast to the show. I haven't listened to it, but apparently it's very good. But it doesn't sound like anything bad has gone down here. Because I saw this initially, and I immediately went to things like the Avatar series, other adaptations of things where the original creators are like, I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. But no, this looks like it's actually okay, and he genuinely just wants to focus on getting their new game off the ground. Which is exciting. I think that Naughty Dog is working on a new game, new IP. They don't need to keep coming back to The Last of Us, especially now that there's a TV show about it that can keep those flames going.
And the many editions of the various versions of the Last of Us game on every PlayStation console you can think of.
Yeah, exactly. Remasters, DLC.
Yeah,
it's
endless.
Endless.
Like every year, there's like an updated version.
Yeah,
each year.
They've just they're tired of just banging a dead horse at this point, or maybe an infected horse,
And yet the fans will still go out and buy it.
Of course, because they love it. They love it. I haven't myself looked much into Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet just yet, but I love the title. And it sounds sci-fi and mythical, and if Naughty Dog's doing it, if Neil Druckmann's doing it, then I think it's going to be fine. So it's the same. They not only did Last of Us, they did Uncharted, and Uncharted was successful. So hopefully, this is the next step for them. But yeah, I'm sad that he's not going to be involved in the show, because it always gave me, hope that the adaptation would be smooth, even though a lot of people have been, up and down on the changes that have been made. I, for one, who have not played the game, only watched playthroughs on YouTube. With the exception of the second game, I haven't seen all of but yeah, I think the changes have been fine. So it's nice to know that Neil was on board and supportive of those creative changes, and I'm sure he trusts Craig and HBO to continue things. Craig Mazin is a masterful filmmaker, maker of television. So I think they've probably already got a solid season 3's going, as we've talked about on the show. It's going to be Abby's POV next season. So yeah, I'm sure everything's going to be fine, and it's fine. Yeah, see how it works. Fulya, how do you feel about this news? Does this intrigue you, upset you, or excite you in any fashion?
Honestly, I don't think it really surprised me, mostly because of the fact that during most recently, I think it was, I don't know if it was during Summer Games Fest. Actually, no, I think they announced this at the Game Awards last year that they were working on the new game,
they did, yeah.
Intergalactic. And I'm not surprised that Neil has decided to take a step back away from the show so that he can focus on the new game. Apparently this game's been in development since 2020, so they really want to get this thing, done as soon as they can. So, and he really needs to focus on that. So it kind of makes sense. It is going to be a little bit weird going into the next couple of seasons of the show, The Last of Us show, with his hands not on it. But by the sounds of things, he must trust the team that's working on it at the moment. So, we'll see how that goes and how it all pans out. So I'm not overly surprised that he's decided to step away from the show, but it is going to be interesting to see where the team goes without him in this sort of sense. He might still get like credits apart from the fact that it's adapted from the game, but he might still be, hovering in and out potentially just to see how it's all going. But I'd say most of the work is going to be done by everyone else except him. So yeah, I'm not overly surprised.
Okay, interesting. I love that. I mean, you've got probably better insight on gaming stuff than myself.
Yeah,
because this is out of the blue for me. So yeah.
But I will mention, if you'd like to know what this game's about, I do
Yes.
have like a little thingy that I found on the Naughty Dog's website that you can go check out. Intergalactic stars our newest protagonist, Jordan A. Munn, a dangerous bounty hunter who ends up stranded on Semperia, a distant planet whose communication with the outside universe went dark hundreds of years ago. In fact, anyone who's flown to it hoping to unravel its mysterious past was never heard from again. Jordan will have to use all her skills and wits if she hopes to be the first person in over 600 years to leave its orbit. There you go.
Ooh.
Spacey game.
Yeah, space.
I wonder if this will get Kendall to start gaming.
Oh, don't put that out there. Don't put that out there, man. Jesus.
Into the universe.
I'm not committing to anything.
Into the space.
On a recording that's going on
One
YouTube.
place that's not being corrupted by
places.
capitalism.
Fantastic. Thank you, Fulya. I appreciate you reading.
You're welcome.
It does sound really good. Maybe I'll watch a playthrough of it.
Oh, wow. I'll probably be there with you.
Yeah.
Because I'm a
that's
watcher,
okay.
not a player.
Yeah, I'm lame like that. Mike, how are you feeling about this news? Are you more surprised like me, or not surprised like Fulya?
A little surprised, but he probably just thinks, well, it's in safe hands, and you can't really detour too much away from it, and he probably just trusts the system. And yeah, he's probably going back to saying, we need to do more games. So he's got this one, and he's probably got another one, maybe a Last of Us Part 3. Ooh, what?
He's cooking something.
He's cooking something. He has mentioned that he has an idea, but it's not really fleshed out too much. Something to do with a certain character at the end of this season 3, as it were. No, I don't think it's no ill will between them. I think it's just you got this. You don't really need me. Yeah. I suppose he
Basically,
because he did an episode in season 2, wrote and directed. So he just and it was parts of the game that he wanted to do in live action, and felt that I want to revisit that sort of thing and find something new about it. So that's good. Which means he doesn't really have anything sort of attached with Abby. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Maybe.
Which would be a shame, because there's a bit in the game that I thought I'm thinking maybe he wanted to like explore, but obviously not. So, oh well. Autumn, autumn. This time in autumn.
This time in autumn. Okay, that's the nerdy news done.
Yes.
Which means now time to roll on up to the grandest of trailer parks.
Yeah.
Rolling up to the trailer park where we all park all the trailers. Hee-haw.
I should have put on a jumper.
Eyes of Wakanda is our first trailer. This is just a little teaser for the upcoming Marvel animated show that one Mark Bernardin has had a hand in creating, writer on the show. Shout out to Fat Man. Yes, I'm excited for this. I think like doing a show about Wakanda makes so much sense. Also, doing it in an animated form, I think it's so cool and makes it really accessible to like everybody. And I think that's really important. And it just looks really great. I like the animation style. It's different to What If, so you can separate the two, which I think is a clever decision. But it looks so vibrant and colorful and dynamic, and I think it's going to be a really interesting show to learn more about, you know, the Wakandan lore inside of, you know, Marvel Comics, and maybe hear some, you know, original stuff. I don't know what kind of stories they're adapting, but yeah, I think it's really, really cool. I'm definitely going to be watching this. What did you think of the little tease here for you?
This was actually really cool to see that, you know, it's going to be animated. We're going to get a little bit of lore and world building. We're going to learn some history about Wakanda. But when I read the description on IMDb about how they're traveling the world to retrieve dangerous vibranium artifacts, it kind of reminded me of a game that's being developed that was announced during Summer Games Fest this year, last month. It's a game called Relooted, and essentially Relooted is the African relic repatriation heist game you didn't realize you needed. That's the caption that they've written for this game. It's essentially you're playing it is it's like a side-scrolling game, and you're looking into these places where these relics are that you have to go and grab, and you're kind of mapping out where these there's a lot of parkour involved, where these NPCs have to sort of run through to get there without being caught, killed, and all that jazz through the security systems. So you have to kind of like hack your way through and all that sort of thing. So it looks like a really cool game, very fast-paced game. But yeah, as soon as I saw that description on IMDb for Eyes of Wakanda, it just reminded me of that. And I'm like, it reminds me of this game.
Yeah, similar.
But yeah, very, very similar. The art style is completely different, though, I will say. So that's one thing that Marvel has going for them. The art style is actually really, really cool. I really like the look of the animation. But I'm also just really curious and eager to learn about the world and the lore and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, let's learn more about Wakanda.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Mike, what did you make of this tease?
It looks very charming. Yeah, don't know anything about the story. it could be like, you know, a little bit of a historical as well, like what were the Wakandans doing like throughout history, and sort of like what DC's doing with the Wonder Woman show about yeah, before Wonder Woman, but what's it called?
The Themyscira thing.
Yeah, Themyscira.
I can't remember what it's called either. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of in the same vein of this the history of this country, this place, and how they sort of hid their way until quite recently, and just it would be an interesting like lore dump, and for people who want to explore more with Wakandans, and Ryan Coogler is part of it, which is pretty cool. I like his stuff, and his little sort of part of the MCU at the moment, including what we're going to talk about in popcorn culture. Haha, there's a tie-in, and yeah, and the animation looks good. Not taken away from not from What If, but it's sort of a different vein. It sort of reminded, in a weird way, it sort of reminded me of the sort of art style that Pocahontas sort of had, but in 3D form. So it's sort of that sort of meshing of worlds of new Disney sort of stuff, but with like old style, like artistic integrity and stuff, which looks cool. Something for the kids? I don't know. They need to watch Black Panther 1 and 2 and Civil War and Infinity Gauntlet War and Doomsday and all that, all the stuff. I don't know where I'm going to introduce my kids into MCU stuff. Don't know. I think my son will probably get into it more than my daughter, but he's only 3. He's very slowly learning stuff. I mean, yeah. So when is this coming out, Kendall?
Well, this is coming out pretty soon. On the 27th of August, you can find Eyes of Wakanda on Disney Plus. Okay, second trailer is for the upcoming new adaptation of The Running Man. I'm so intrigued. Look, everyone's we're all running for those who aren't watching. Yes. So this, I'm really intrigued by this. Oh no.
That's
No.
concerning.
That's
No more running for you.
No more running. No running man.
Oh yeah, because
it's running. It's running woo man only. Yeah. Sorry.
You mean I can't do something because of my gender? That's affected them.
That affected them. Anyway, Running Man. Yes, I'm very intrigued by this. I haven't read the book. I did watch this Arnold Schwarzenegger film not too long ago. Another gem that my partner has introduced me to. And I really liked it. Like, it's very 80s camp, but it's good. I think it's pretty good. And I can see bits of that in this. But they've definitely, I don't know if this is closer to the or not. I need to look that up. But like, they've changed. So Glenn Powell is playing Arnold Schwarzenegger's character essentially, but their origins, just based on this trailer, are completely different. Because in the Arnold version, he's like an ex-military guy who gets framed and ends up in prison and then ends up having to go into the Running Man thing. This is not that. Similarly, the character is on hard times and has to, and ends up in the Running Man, I'm guessing, to get, money to help his daughter and whatnot. But it also, and this also seems a lot more intense. I don't know. Like it's miles apart visually. Like there's a lot of obviously really camera work here. I mean, it's Edgar Wright. He's known for his camera and interesting shots. I loved the way the trailer ended with that like one shot through the corridor as he's running away and grenade thing. Like that was really cool. I love that they've kind of really captured exactly the game show sort of side of it from the original. In the original film, they actually had I can't remember his name, but it was an actual American game show host that they actually cast to be in the movie, and he never really acted. He only did, he only hosted game shows, and he fucking nails it. I mean, not really a stretch when he's playing a different version of himself, but in the scenes where he's not on and hosting, he's actually pretty great. So yeah, I recommend watching definitely if you haven't seen it and you're interested. But I would also be interested in a take of watching this as a standalone and then maybe going back and watching the Arnold version. But I'm really excited for this. It's like so much fun. I love Glenn Powell. He can do no wrong. The cast in this is great. It's going to be an interesting commentary, of course, on the times. And I like Coleman Domingo a lot, and seeing him here as the game show host is he looks like he's having fun, wearing a fabulous suit as well. So yeah, I can't wait to see this. I'm actually really excited now. I was a bit hesitant, but I'm like, no, this trailer and Edgar Wright, I should say, have brought me round this version of the Running Man. Fulya, what did you think of this? I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, but I don't know. What did you think?
Not really my cup of tea.
Oh,
But
brats,
you love
and
game shows.
Here I thought I was onto something.
Look, I don't know. Like, I don't think the premise of this particular movie doesn't really grab me as much. Like, it's not really something that I enjoy, to be fair. So, yeah, like I appreciate like the humor, and the amount of action that's involved in this. But yeah, it's not really a movie for me, to be honest. So yeah, pass.
That is fine. Mike, I'm pretty confident you're going to be watching this one. How did you like this trailer or not like this trailer?
Yeah, it looks like shit. I'm not gonna watch it. Yeah. I'm very interested. I haven't seen The Running Man actually, but I know very much of it, and because there's a lot of one-liners that have been used a lot in list videos. Yeah, and just for people who think Arnie does like the one-liners, this is definitely the movie from, and not necessarily Mr. Freeze, but it's definitely like cool off. It's like yeah. So will I watch the original? Probably not before this one. So spoilers alert. Yeah, I'm gonna watch this one. You've convinced me. I like me Edgar Wright, even though I haven't seen Baby Driver yet. It's still it's still
there
next to my thing, watching my thing. I just got to finish my Squid Games and my bears, and I have to wait for the kids to go to bed, and I'm gonna watch it, which is a good time, even though Kevin Spacey. Yeah, oh, you can't help it. Anyway,
no.
But I might actually listen to the audiobook of The Running Man, because because I like Miss Stephen King, and it's one that I actually haven't read, seen, heard yet. So I might do that before the movie comes out, which will be
later this year on the 6th.
I like Michael Cera in this.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and his crafty way of taking on the fuzz.
That was great.
Yeah,
That was this. Yeah, it's gonna be fun, I think. Dark
which is good
fun.
because good to see Edgar Wright and Scott Pilgrim back together again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We can't get a Scott Pilgrim 2, even though we sort of did in animated form. We can have this
Retelling.
forever.
I call it a retelling.
Yes. It's a retelling. Yes, correct. You're right. It's not really a
sequel.
A sequel. Okay. Our next trailer. Speaking of book adaptations, here's another one. It's Project Hail Mary. AKA.
Speaking of a, go on.
No. Go on. You finish your sentence.
Speaking of a Hail Mary, what?
No. Speaking of, a very Kendall movie.
I know. I was literally just going to say, AKA the trailer I'm most excited about here.
Yeah.
Like, of course. Is anyone surprised right now? I mean, come on.
Michael, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. Sign me the fuck up. This ticked all the boxes. Every single box. You have Ryan Gosling. You have Lord and Miller. Hello. Back together again for this one. This is an adaptation of another Andy Weir novel. If you're not unfamiliar with Andy Weir, he wrote The Martian. Another film
The Martian.
I really like with Matt Damon. This definitely has Martian vibes all over it as well. So he definitely has a style of writing. I kind of want to read the book now as well, but in the middle of reading other things. So eventually, but yeah, it looks great. It's got it's got the end of the world in there too. I mean, come on, this is like Project Kendall's movie. I mean, literally, it's just the only thing that would have made this perfect if it was Tom Hiddleston. Okay. So one mistake. Anyway, no, I love Ryan Gosling and he looks perfect here. I mean, he's perfect. Great. And it's cool to see him back in space in a different capacity because last time he was in a space movie, he played Neil Armstrong in First Man, which was an interesting movie and an interesting take on the Apollo 11 mission. But I haven't rewatched. But maybe one day I'll revisit it. Anyway, yeah, this looks great. This looks fun. I've got to look. I meant to look up her damn name and I forgot. The main actress in this, she was in
Liz Kingsman?
Yeah, no, hang on, what? Liz, no, not Liz. It might be. Hang on. Una Memento. Una Memento. I'm scrolling. Yeah, Sandra Hüller. Sandra Hüller. She was in a couple of foreign films, not this year, but last year's Oscar season. That were absolutely fantastic. The Zone of Interest being one, and Anatomy of a Fall being another, in which she was nominated for an Oscar. This woman is extremely talented, if I can fucking speak. She's so talented, she's taking words from me. I can't talk. But yeah, I'm really glad to see her here in the film. That's a really good exposure for her. And she looks like she's really cool. And I like the scientists in this. Like, they bring Ryan Gosling in because they think he can answer, and then they all answer in unison that, we don't know why it's happening and blah blah blah. And then the concept of suns being infected with something, and yeah, this is great. It just, everything about it just looks wonderful to me. So hell to the fuck yes, sign me the fuck, please. Immediately. Just immediately, please. I can't wait. All right, enough gushing from me. Fulya, what did
Yes.
you think of this? Does this seem like a movie you might be interested to see?
I don't know.
Damn it.
I'm not quite sure. Sorry.
Sorry?
But it's Ryan Gosling.
Gosling. Look, honestly, because it's Ryan Gosling, it almost had me. But then yeah, I don't know, like the whole end of the world vibe doesn't really hit me.
It's a bit too nihilistic for you.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
That's fair.
Yeah. Otherwise, you know, the fact that like I like the fact that they've got some humor in this as well. Like Ryan Gosling's character has to kind of like has some moments where he doesn't he's like, but I am just a scientist, I'm not an astronaut. I am not an astronaut.
I put the not
Like
in astronaut.
Yeah, he's got like a few good one-liners in there. But so the trailer was actually like, if we're talking about the trailer, like it makes the movie look really good. I like the way that they cut this trailer together. But is it a movie for me? Probably not.
Well, you can't win them all.
Am I right?
That's fine. I appreciate your honesty as always.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for your thoughts, Mike. What did you make of Project Hail Mary?
Well, interesting fact that I still got my Audible, but I don't pay for it. But when I did, they did a deal where you got this book for free. So I've got this in my library, and I haven't touched it because I thought,
free book. What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with it? And they made it into a movie. And I thought, okay. From the same guy who did The Martian. I haven't seen The Martian either.
The Martian's good.
I don't want to see Matt Damon grow potatoes in his own poop.
Potatoes.
Potatoes.
Yeah, I was going to say potatoes.
It was right there, and I missed it.
So this movie is about Ryan Gosling being an unconventional astronaut, and apparently, people who have read the book are kind of pissed off for the trailer to actually show a lot more than needs to be.
Yeah, I read that it spoils a twist, and one article I saw seemed to be like maybe that's a good thing. So I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I don't want to know too much.
So people get to like watch it. It's like, what is this really about? It's like, oh, it's a survival mission. It could be something to do with what happens at the end of the trailer. So that's the third act. I don't know. Yeah, who knows? But it looks charming, witty. Will I watch it? I don't know. I might, just like the Running Man, I might read the book because I have it for free, and I'll see if I would like it or not. And if I do, then I might be watching this, which will be around about
next year. It's coming out next year on the 19th of March.
Oh, that's good. It'll give me time to listen to that Audible book.
Yeah,
I've been re-listening to Hello. What's that one?
Is Fulya got it too? Or are you just looking?
No, I looked it up on Audible. It's no longer free. But if you have Audible subscription, you can use a credit towards it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But why would you?
Hashtag not sponsored.
No.
Yeah. Fuck Bezos. Anyway, you and your fucking wedding can go jump.
I know. Who cares?
I know. Just imagine all those people being in the same place. Something might happen.
Hey, look, Orlando Bloom was there, all right? Don't you leave him alone.
No.
Mm.
He knows what he did.
Running up CG rocks. In a
Oh
really
my god, Lister, you
weird way.
killed me.
Oh, that was very funny.
Well,
Thanks,
my
guys.
intention wasn't to kill you.
No.
It was to kill me,
No.
actually.
I
No.
still found it funny.
Eat the rich.
Yeah, eat the fucking rich. And on that note, let's transition into our kid-friendly trailer for a kid-friendly movie, and that is The Cat in the Hat.
Whoa!
Animated version of the iconic Dr. Seuss character here. Voiced by the incredible Bill Hader. I mean, perfect casting or perfect casting, am I right?
Wow. He has played the Cat in the Hat before.
On SNL? Did he do
Yes.
something? Yeah, okay.
He accidentally runs into his ex.
Amazing. I'll have to look this kid up. So this is funny for him then. But yeah, great. I actually want to watch this. This trailer, I was laughing through most of it. I found it great. I found the voice work exceptional. Matt Berry's in this movie somewhere. Hello.
And Giancarlo Esposito and America Ferrera.
And yeah, it's got a great cast.
Yep.
It's got a phenomenal cast. So big tick from me on that front. The animation style is really cool as well. They haven't gone with like the sort of super traditional style of animation. There's a little bit of a different aesthetic choice here in some of the character designs. I love the different designs on things. And the reveal of them in this trailer at the end was really cool and really funny. Like it's just yeah, I think I'm gonna watch this. You know, just Kendall's gonna watch an animated film. Oh my god,
for children
and a Dr. Seuss one at that.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm as surprised as everybody else right now. No, it looks funny. It looks charming. It looks miles away from the whatever Mike Myers was doing in the original or the last time this was adapted.
Oh, come on, he didn't want to do it.
I know. I know there's a whole thing with that movie and whatnot, and some people like it, and I'm one of those. Yeah, this looks fun and genuinely funny, so I'll be watching it. What about you, Fulya?
I'm most likely gonna watch this too. Love. No, well, it's animation. Come on.
I know. Hence the hilarity of me saying "got her."
Got her.
Yes. Of course I got it. It's an animated film.
Look, given the cast that's going to be in this, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a good time. It's going to be some popcorn fun. You know, it's a childhood sort of favorite based on the books and of Dr. Seuss, and yeah. And look, honestly, I think what really got me the most is probably the art style of the animation. And the colors just really pop.
Yeah,
it's so bright, and I love it. I honestly, I don't know if the trailer I watched, I just cut off a bit too soon, but I didn't see the group shot of all the things.
Oh, that's annoying.
So when I saw a picture, I've seen a picture of it on IMDb, and I'm like, oh, spoiler? Or was that in the trailer? So I must have missed it.
Yeah.
But no, the things look adorable in their little quirky little versions. I didn't realize there was more than two.
I know.
Because as soon as one popped out first and then 3 popped out, I'm like, hang on, where's number 2?
Yeah. What's going on here?
What happened?
Yeah.
There's more.
There's more things.
And there's more things. No, but it looks like there's going to be a lot of chaos being ensued for a particular family. And just, yeah, I think it's just going to be some good fun for the whole family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely. What about you, Mike? Is this going to be a trip to the cinema for you reckon?
I think so with the kids. It definitely looks a lot more charming than the Smurfs movie that's out at the moment, and my kids want to see that. It's like, no, it looks shit. It looks crap.
Yeah, this
But
does not look good.
I was worried because I did like the first joke. It got me. That got me of not opening the box. But
Yeah.
they did a thing where I don't particularly like with modern like animated kids stuff. They put in a modern song that would clearly date
Yes.
the movie
Yes.
terribly in the future.
100%.
Because it's like the big thing. It's like, no, yeah. I'm a bit, yeah. But overall, really enjoyable. Like probably the toot fart bit was a bit cringe, but they played with it and it was fun. And I do it is interesting that because Dr. Seuss books are small, they need to add on some stuff. So having like a company that does like imaginary work, and it's Cat in a Hat, a yak with a pack, it's that sort of witty word.
Giraffe with a carafe. That made me giggle. I'm like, what?
Yeah. You can always tell it's that rule where they did for Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. They actually had two people on staff writing, trying to figure out puns for that movie.
Yep.
Like it's got to be an animal and a food thing. So that's that. Yeah. So it's in that rule of thought, and I actually quite like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and again, Bill Hader, main person.
I think I've only seen the first one. I don't know if
Yeah.
I've seen the second one.
I think
Second
I've
one
seen.
was-
Sorry, you go on, Mike. Go.
No. I interrupted.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, I've seen them. I was just going to say that I liked them as well. Like for what I really liked the first one, and the second one was a decent sequel. I felt. Yeah.
And I enjoyed those two too. So hopefully this will be enjoyable as well, and get my kids into Dr. Seuss as well. So
Yeah.
when will that be?
When will that be? Well, talk about alternate programming. When you're not watching Project Hail Mary, you can go see The Cat in the Hat on the same day, 19th of March next year.
Yay! I have an alternative.
You have an alternative.
Thank
Yes.
goodness.
Thank goodness gracious me. Okay, we've got one more trailer in our epic grand trailer park today. And that is for a highly lauded film already. I'm excited for this. It's Sentimental Value. It's a Swedish film. With some English in there too, so it's a bit of a mixed language going on.
Bilingual.
Starring Stellan Skarsgård and Elle Fanning, and I can't pronounce the other actress's name, so I'm apologizing profusely. So I'm not going to butcher it on air and embarrass them or myself. But she was in this other really good movie that I haven't seen yet, but everyone says it's very good. Worst person. I really need to watch that. But anyway, this film, this trailer, it was a good trailer. It was very emotional to watch because it's the story kind of is centering around this relationship between a father and his daughters, especially one daughter in particular, and the fact that he's had this successful career in film, and now he's got this new movie coming out starring Elle Fanning's character, and there's this whole thing with that, and I kind of loved there was a moment where he's like, you're my daughters, you're the the best thing I ever did, or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, but he's implying how much he loved daughters, and then that she's just like, but then why weren't you around? you know? Yeah. So it's kind of the age old question when you have to put, career over family or family over career. Like, what do you do? What do you sacrifice? And how do you navigate that? And this film seems to be exploring that in a really interesting way. And yeah, I feel like this is a cry movie, but also a happy cry movie. So I'm definitely going to be watching it at some point. I wanted to also mention that it won the Grand Prix at the Cannes Film Festival this year, which is the second highest prize you can win. It also had a 19 standing ovation, which is one of the longest I think that Cannes has ever had. So if that doesn't tell you anything, I don't. So I'd be watching out for sentimental value at all
Wow.
season next year. That's for sure.
That's amazing.
But I'm
the fastest film on track, and it won the Grand Prix.
It sure did. Yes. So yeah, I this looks beautiful. I'm looking forward to seeing it. What about you, Fulya? Does this interest you at all? What did you make of the trailer?
It's an interesting movie. Compared to the rest of the trailers that we've got from today, this one definitely is the most emotional one. And yeah, I like maybe I might see it. I mean, after seeing Stellan Skarsgård's performance in Andor, I kind of want to see what he's like in something that's more non-fiction than fiction.
Watch Dune.
I get you.
Watch June?
Dune.
Yeah,
excuse me, that's fiction.
He's unrecognizable in Dune. Yeah. No, yeah, I get what you mean. Like the only I think the only other non-fantasy thing I've seen him in is Good Will Hunting.
And that's another thing I have to watch.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that one.
He's in that. That's a great film too. You'll love it. Robin Williams. Oh,
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
Mamma Mia.
So, and Mamma Mia. Yeah, I forgot about Mamma Mia.
But I have seen Mamma Mia. I forgot about that.
Yes, Mamma Mia.
And the second one. Here we go again.
Here we go again.
No,
So
but yeah, like I kind of want to see him something a little bit different, and the fact that he's speaking in his own language, which is another thing as well. Honestly, I had a hard time picking the language. I didn't think about the fact that he was Swedish and that everyone would be speaking. I knew it was a Scandinavian country. I couldn't pinpoint the language properly.
Yeah, that's okay.
But no, I feel like I might watch this. I know for a fact that I'm probably going to end up crying, given the whole father-daughter thing, and it may not be the same sort of relationship that I have with my dad, but I have this feeling that something's going to connect with me and it's going to just break me.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I don't know. I might watch it just because of the fact that it's Stellan Skarsgård and it's something different. But also, I may not watch it because of the whole feelings thing.
You can't make me feel my own feelings.
I don't want to cry.
How dare you? How dare you make me feel things, movie? Oh, that's funny. No, great. That's awesome. I'm really glad that you saying all of that makes me including this trailer completely worth it. That's great. Mike, what about you? What did you make of Sentimental Value?
Yeah, it's a very charming film to look at it. And probably good that we adventure forth into like foreign cinema. I mean, every film's foreign. Everything's from fucking America. But you know what I mean. But
non-English language.
Non-English language. And I need to start watching more of that. Because adventure more out of my comfort zone of trying to read and watch at the same time. Considering I do watch One Piece with the English sub, but with the Japanese translated subtitles, so I'm sort of watching it twice. And my daughter says, "Why are you doing that?" It's like, so I don't have to watch it again. It's like, which one do you want to watch? So yeah, subject matter I'm not too familiar with, unfortunately. Unlike you, my co-hosts here, but maybe a cautionary tale for me with my daughter, and to see where our relationship goes. I try not to be an absent father. I try to be with my kids as often as I can. And is that enough? Well, we'll never know until later on down the track. Yeah. I might watch it. It's a good as it is. It's a good festival movie, and hopefully it will come out here. Kind of hard because I live in central Victoria, so I don't know. Maybe we'll go to the Star Cinema. Who knows? Yeah. But when is it coming out, or its run in this festival?
So I don't have a release date for like a wide release for Sentimental Value here in Australia. Later in the year will be a wide release, but if you are able to come to Melbourne or are in Melbourne, it's going to be showing at the Scandinavian Film Festival that's happening throughout July and August at Palace Cinemas. So screenings will begin from the 17th of July of Sentimental Value. I may or may not try and go and see it, or I'll just wait for a wide release and see it closer to Oscar time. But yeah. It's already played in Sydney. I think it played at the Sydney Film Festival, and MIF is also happening soon too. So it might be screening as part of the Melbourne International Film Festival next month as well. So yeah, I can't wait to watch this. Alrighty, that's Trailer Park, Epic Trailer Park. I loved that trailer park personally. I thought it was very. I am patting myself on the back. All the trailers, and now it's time for all the popcorn, because it's the moment, the segment, the section, the thing, the place, the spot. That's that event we like to call
popcorn culture.
Yes, it's popcorn culture time. We are here now to finish off Ironheart, and we're going to be talking about episodes 4 through 5. Let me strike that, reverse it. Episodes 4 through 6. 4 through 6. Which are Bad Magic, Calm as a Glitch, and The Past is Past. So yeah, we're just going to tackle it like we did last week, talk about them all in a big bunch, because as I know Fulya has, I did the same, binged them in one go. I'm sure Mike probably did the same, potentially. Yes and no? Watch when you could, sort of thing.
I was watching it with Squid Game. Well, mostly with the bear.
Oh, like going. Yeah, I see. Okay. Yeah, I finished. Well, yeah, that's what I did, and then I finished the bear afterward. Yeah. So, yes. Yeah, let's talk about it. So yeah, my overall way this all panned out. I don't know how to feel, to be honest. Now that I've sat with it for a couple of days, I don't know how I feel about this. I wish it had been a bit better. On the whole, there's definitely a lot of potential in here for a better story. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it came together okay by the end. Certain characters may or may not have been dispatched of too quickly. That could be a debate we could have. Or just not used. Other characters not used appropriately, maybe. But yeah, Mephisto's here. Mephisto. They did Mephisto. It's official. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know. I'm pretty sure Mephisto was actually supposed to be an Agathel. There was a plan to include him in that. I'm pretty sure because I knew Sacha Baron Cohen was supposed to be playing him at some point. So yeah, seeing him show up here, like we speculated last that he would likely be turning up because of the whole M thing. They dropped the episode list, and just because of the magic stuff. And magic comes up. Everyone's just like Mephisto. Like we've been doing it since WandaVision. Mephisto. And he's here. So yeah, so that's cool. We'll talk more about him later. But yeah, I don't know. There's certain things that I wish they'd done differently with Riri, and parts of her story, and Parker and Ezekiel. Like, there's just a lot going on, and the whole magic versus technology. I think it paid off okay. Like, it paid off better than I was expecting. When we were talking about it last week. But I still wanted a little bit more. I think there was still something missing, or I don't know, it could have been done differently. But yeah, I'm not mad at the show at all by any stretch. But there's some really poor dialogue choices and hand holding and just bad direction and bad editing. It's fine, I guess. I feel bad for the show's cast. Fulya, hello. Hi. I'm interested, as always, in your opinion. What did you make of overall the ending of Ironheart and the last 3 episodes?
I feel like this series could have been told better in a movie. I would probably say.
I will agree with that.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be 6 episodes.
No. I think with a lot of there was a lot of filler in this particular series that could have just, been removed and then just condensed into a 2 and a bit hours of a movie. And then we could be, that I probably would have told the story a bit better for sure. The last 3 episodes of this series, the second half, I don't know. I feel like the payoff of it all wasn't something that I was hoping to see. I liked what we got in terms of, Riri and her trying to get past her whole trauma, dealing with her grief, finally getting her, talking to her mum about it and getting her sort of to help her get through what she's been going through. Because that's what mums are there for. They're there to help you through your pain. And so I'm glad that they within that sort of respect, but with Parker, with what's his name? The Hood. Those two, I felt bad for Parker. I felt bad for Ezekiel, is who I was trying to say. And Ezekiel was he ended up in prison, obviously, but then Parker ended up finding a way to manipulate him to use his ability in tech and his money to get tech for his own motives. And Parker's group, his little group of his team members, he mentions the whole thing about being family, but then you notice that, he's not really in it for that. He's just in it for his own, for his own motives in general, which I don't know how I felt about that, because even though we could see from like the first episode, you see that you can sort of see that there was something that he was hiding, and then we find out in these last 3 episodes what it is. It kind of felt a bit, I don't know, like I was a bit disappointed that that was the reason why he wanted to get filthy rich and powerful, right? He wanted all that. That's what he desired. But the reason behind it all was because of his dad and the fact that he wasn't getting attention from his dad. And seriously?
It's a little weak sauce.
Yeah, that's your reason for going all evil? I didn't really like that, to be honest. It was a bit disappointing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like it could have been, like, this story could have been told a lot better. There could have been a better reason for Parker's evilness and desire to be more powerful and rich.
Well, can I just say, while I have the, I was going to save it for later, but I may as well say it now in case I forget. But I feel like if they just made it clearer that, like, who Parker's dad was time, because his dad's kind of in the background.
Yeah.
But like so far in the background you can't really see him. Like he feels like an Easter egg. And then when you see him in the last episode and you get that reveal, the payoff is not there.
No.
They haven't laid the groundwork to help, for all the hand holding this show does in other areas. Here it fucking dropped the ball. And if they'd shown us or given us more hints, or just at least had more scenes with this guy who's his father, whose name I can't even think of, because hello, they didn't do a good job at selling him, then maybe we would be more invested in this, and more, the payoff would be more worth it watching this scene. It would make more sense as to why Parker did what he did, because you're right, Fulya, it's not there at all.
No.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't
work. Anyway.
No. Yeah. And then and then the episode we got, was it 4 or was it 5? I think it might have been 5, where we got a little backstory into Parker's life, and
well, the
start just like more so just before he got the hood, essentially.
Yeah, the start of 4, and then I think into 5 or 6, they kind of split it in 2 bits. Like they showed in episode 4 they showed the bit with John and them in the house, and then I think in episode 6 is when they came back to it. Like I remember it being split.
Yeah,
but it was weirdly done.
Yeah, it really was. So yeah, that whole the whole premise of the reason for Parker wanting all that, and it didn't really pay off very well. So yeah, I feel like this could have been done better in a movie, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. Mike, how are you feeling about the last 3 episodes of Ironheart overall?
Sitting on it, I think I'm a bit more forgiving than you two. I think, considering this was in production hell for how many long years.
A few years, yeah.
And as you said, that Mephisto was supposed to be in Agatha all along, and had to be cut because this TV show hasn't come out yet. So the reveal was sort of weird in a way. So overall, I think it was all leading up to episode 6, like this whole season, because the big reveal is the introduction of Mephisto, and that would branch out to any other thing. Like after the reveal, I'm more looking forward to Vision Quest and where that's going to go, and surely Riri is going to be coming back because her decision at the end does affect the overall arc of the MCU as it is as a whole, and and this also is something to do with Doomsday and all that, because we are dealing with the introduction of AI, and Vision Quest is going to be dealing with that sort of thing, because they're bringing back all these AIs that we've seen, like Friday and Ultron, and so it's still going to be the difference between science, the technology and the spirituality that it is, and and it's that duality of was Natalie alive or not, and now we're seeing the decisions that people have. The overall storytelling was a bit messy. It was just like the first 3 episodes was great. It's set up these characters like perfectly. But episode 4 and 5 were just running to the finish line, and it felt like none of these stories were sort of having any breath to breathe, no time to breathe, like especially with Ezekiel. Like all of a sudden, he got arrested. No due process at all. Just straight to jail. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. And all of a sudden, turn on Riri, like right there. It's like, really? Surely that should have been more festering in prison. Like I can see what you're saying with it should have been a movie to compact it to between Parker and Riri and that sort of thing. But unfortunately, then Ezekiel probably had to be let go, that storyline. But I enjoyed the fact that we're dealing with the ramifications of Iron Man, the first movie, and putting that in there.
Yeah.
So I would think this TV show probably should have had more episodes to actually flush out like more intention. And
that
more,
also
more
works.
stuff. And also Parker, his determination, because it's revenge on his father that we only learned for one episode, and that's it, and we don't see his dad ever again. Surely should be more. But I will say it almost was it almost was a failed series, but probably for me, what only saved it was the reveal of Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto. I would actually probably forgive the TV show just for that, because having like pretty much the devil in the MCU now makes it a lot more fun in a way, because this would have ramifications like even in past like MCU stuff. Like I can probably see them sort of rejigging Wanda in Multiverse of Madness because of Mephisto and her turn that we don't see.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I can sort of see that if they work it, massage it in like gradually, it's like, oh, okay, this is the sort of thing that Mephisto was there all along.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mephisto. Oh.
Yeah.
Literally.
and it would make a bit more sense. And him being the puppet master of the strings, and him dealing with Tony Stark face Doom's Doctor Doom as well, and that sort of thing. It's the technology versus the spirituality as well. Like I can see Mephisto like being part of these new Avenger movies, but not as a main guy, just someone who probably kicks it into gear. And this also begs the question, is he going to be part of the new Spider-Man movie as well? And how because Mephisto deals with Spider-Man as well in the comics, which it's got something to do with trying to bring back Aunt May as well. So that's the sort of thing that's going to be interesting. It just makes things more interesting, but begs the question, is that enough to be a good thing? Something to set up something in the future, which I don't like the MCU doing. I just like the stories themselves and being good, but the payoff is going to be later down the track. That's why I like Agatha all along, because it was a good story, but also it was setting things up with Wiccan and the ghost of Agatha, so and other stuff. So my overall thing is, it was a good show. I like the fact that they made Ironheart, Riri, a more fleshed out character to set up to fail at the end of the show. I like that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily me enjoying as like, oh, you stupid person, why did you do that? But that's the sort of thing that I like. It's making these characters more three-dimensional, as it were, like a flawed character.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm thinking this decision would have ripple effects into future stuff. And this
yes,
is
well, that was me saying, "Oh, why would you do that? Why would you?
Yeah,
why?
yeah.
Why?"
Like I was saying that too. It's like, why don't you deal with your grief in a healthy way?
Yeah.
Instead of relying on echoes of the past and being manipulated by the devil. I mean, yeah, she's a kid and she's being manipulated by the devil. I don't blame her for getting duped by the actual ramifications of something so tantalizing.
I think the show, I will agree with Mike, I think did a very good job in establishing that how Riri's emotions affect her decision making and logical reasoning, all of that. So her making the choice doesn't feel really out of character or out of line with something she might do, especially as you said, as a way of dealing with grief, she makes a poor choice. And allows herself to be duped. My only caveat is she saw and knew full well what the Hood did to Parker.
Mm-hmm.
And she still made the choice.
Yes.
That's the only thing I will say against it.
Mm.
But again, she's grieving. She got Natalie back, sort of, right? And she lost her, and she blamed again, exactly. Twice. And so she's grieving all over again. So I understand her poor decision. I do, but yeah, I'm just like, I feel like I don't know. And like, it makes sense, but it doesn't. It's I don't know. I'm definitely of two minds about it. But I think I more agree with you than disagree, I would say. Because it does seem.
You're allowed to disagree.
Anyway. I know. No, I know. But I feel like I just can't ignore the Parker when I think about it. That's it.
It wasn't a Parker, it was a Hood.
Yes. Speaking of Parker, let's talk about him and his crew a bit. First to say that I liked that the crew sort of stood up against him at the end there. And then he just said, well, you're all fired, and we just never saw them again.
Yeah.
I mean, the show didn't really have any room for that, I suppose. So it's fine, but it just seemed very like I was kind of hoping they were going to come back in the last episode and fight with Riri, but then that might also then conflict with the fact that they now know that Riri let John die, and they knew John way better than they knew her, so the allegiance makes sense. But still, it was a bit. I'm glad they turned on him. Like, I'm glad they did that. I think that was a good decision to do. But speaking of them, the fight scene in the
White Castle.
The White
In the
Castle.
White
Thank you.
Castle.
I was like, was it Carl's Jr.? No.
No.
White Castle.
It was,
was
a
a little-
Wendy's.
It was a Wendy's. It was a little hard to believe for me because yes, Riri is a genius, and she's she clearly can fight a little bit, but the fact that you establish that you have these two characters in this gang that run a street fighting thing like operation, and in episode 3 we see them take down all these security guards and they're fucking dropping massive moves, kicks and slams and just all the whole thing, and then Riri beats them in a fight. I blame it on the plot. She had to beat them
use her
because plot.
smarts.
She had to use her smarts, and yes, that's fine. She's smart, and that's fine. But I still didn't buy it, and that's fine. That's fine. But moving on, I think one more thing. I kind of said all I really about Parker. I mean, I liked why am I forgetting his fucking name? I know his name. The actor who plays him. Somebody tell me. It's on the tip of my tongue. Anthony Ramos. I like him.
Yep.
Sorry, yes. Sorry, I meant Parker, the actor, plays him. Anthony Ramos. Good actor. Very good actor. Solid performance. He didn't have a lot to work with. He did the best he could with it. But I feel like the show might have worked better without him in it. I had a brainwave while you guys were talking that I feel like my fix for this. Don't get rid of the magic element. Don't get rid of. If you take out Parker and his crew, I mean, yes, you're removing the heist thing and all of that, and then you have to come up with a different angle. But I think if you made, and I was gonna save this points, but I feel like Ezekiel could have been the villain of the show in a really interesting kind of parallel moment, full circle moment to the first Iron Man film, because there's a line Ezekiel says to Riri when he's like, I can't remember the exact line, but it's about about how he's trying to get out of his father's shadow and fighting against someone in an iron suit anyway. Sort of, that's the gist. Sort of, I think. I'm probably remembering it wrong. But anyway, that kind of made me go, oh, well, Ezekiel should have been the villain. And if they'd gone into his issues with his dad, because clearly he has issues with his dad, right? Like, he knows what his dad really did. The world thinks he's this big hero. He knows Obadiah is a piece of shit and got killed trying to kill Tony, there's this whole thing there. Why don't you go into that and have him, instead of having Parker trying to go after his dad to like prove himself or take him down or whatever, you have Ezekiel getting into magic as a way to get around his dad and his dad's legacy and make a better legacy for the Stain family name. And then you can like connect the daddy issues he's having with the daddy issues of Riri losing her stepdad and that drive-by, and you tie that into the Natalie thing. So I feel like if you do it that way, I think you've got a better groundwork. I don't know. That's just my thought. I don't know if you guys agree with that at all, but yeah.
I mean, it sounds interesting. Like it definitely could work. It could have worked in that respect. But especially considering the fact that when he turned, that's when I was like, oh, this could get really interesting. And the fact that he then ends up going back and forgiving Riri in a way.
Yeah, I mean, he says, like, I know I wanted to talk about Parker, but we're talking about Ezekiel now, I guess. But he said, he says to her at the end, like, we're not done. Like, he definitely has unfinished business with her. I will agree with what you said, Mike, about him being suddenly so angry, and we miss all that time of him coming to that rage. And like we get a preview of it when he's like, oh, I'm giving you this tech, but you better not screw me over because I'm going to lose everything if you do. And then she does. So I understand where his anger's coming, and that they make that pretty clear. But yeah, if they had more time, like you said, Mike, your alternate option of stretching it out instead of slimming it down, that could have worked. To like have a montage of him stewing in prison, and then the rage might make more sense, because it does feel very sudden for him to just be like, you ruined my life, fuck you, and now I'm going to do everything, including aligning with the bad guy and going against what I was trying to stand for in a weird way, and try to bring you down, you know? So it's,
so that conversation that Riri and Ezekiel have when he's in prison, it just felt a bit disjointed and very very short. And I'm like, but hold on, you're not gonna hash it out? What the hell's going on? He's just gonna walk away?
Yeah, like Riri gave up pretty quickly on him. But I know she's got dealing with and but I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't want to put everything on the backbone of she's messed up emotionally as an excuse. But there's certain things in here that she could have maybe said more or done more.
Yeah.
And explained more, you know. Like the whole John thing as well, and just anyway. That's for whenever. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's it's like I said earlier, I feel like there's a better story in there somewhere. And it would have been really cool, I think, if Ezekiel had just been the villain, they'd gotten rid of Parker. I mean, Parker's a character in the comics, except in his comic book name was actually Robin Parker, and in the show here, he's Parker. So they've changed it around. So yeah, he's not original to the show. He's definitely a character, obviously. So, but yeah, but I don't know. I just I already ranted about the whole thing with his. Too much else to say. I did like their final. I'll finish up by just saying the final fight scene. I kind of liked because of the fake out of Riri and her suit being a hologram that the suit was projecting. I thought that was really clever, because I was like watching it. I'm like, no, she just built that suit and we're losing it already.
Yep. Same.
So I really liked that. Yeah, that twist. And how the suit incorporated magic. Maybe we'll talk about that. But yeah, it was cool. And Parker kind of, I don't want to use Morbius as a reference, but his face kind of Morbius with like the he's got a bit of a maw going on and big eyes and shit.
I was gonna say he freaking had fangs and was turning into more of like a werewolfy kind of a thing, and I'm like, excuse me, that's what that magic does?
I'm sorry? Yeah, that's what it does. That's the price. That's the thing you won't miss, says Mephisto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your humanity.
Geez. Your humanity, your soul, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Cool. I don't really know. That kind of went all over the place, but
same.
It was good. Fulya, do you have anything else on Parker? Mike, do you have anything on Parker you guys wanted to touch on? His career, anything in that front before we move into a different topic?
I kind of did like the fight in the White Castle. It was pretty hype. It was just.
I mean, it was cool, but anyway.
Yeah. It's cool.
I'm just picking it apart. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It just worked for me entirely. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, and also the truck flip as well.
That
was intense.
That was a cool shot, I will say. The shot of it of Riri punching down, and it just, that was,
yeah, the flipping the bird.
Oh boy.
It's cool, man.
It's cool, man.
Yeah, I kind of wish we had a bit more with the crew. The crew were actually really cool. Like if they had a bit more of a role apart from just being Parker's lackeys.
Yeah, that's kind of all they were.
And Eric Andre only just being around and then he gets killed off the street. Come on.
I am outraged.
Don't do that with Andre. I feel like watching Eric Andre show now.
Yeah.
Cool. Shall we talk a little bit more about Ezekiel then?
Yes.
Aside from my proposed rewrite of the show, I kind of wish they'd I don't know, used him a little bit better, but I did like the play of, in the first half they set him up as this, he's a very kind of subdued doormat of a man. Like, he lets his neighbor sort of do whatever she wants. And he kind of, he's weak sauce, I guess. And then Riri teaches him to stand up for a bit, and then he gets a bit of an attitude, and then he gets this anger and prison and all this stuff. And then he blackmails Riri in episode 3 and all that stuff, whatever. And I kind of really liked how then, in trying to get back at Riri, he ends up subjugating himself to someone else. He ends up unwittingly surrendering control of himself to Parker when he has his tech put in his body, his upgrades. As soon as they shaved his head, though, I was like, okay, this is his villain origin story now. He's got a shaved head. And the way it was cut, like this V going on, I was just like, okay.
That's a choice.
It's certainly a choice. I definitely preferred the
They should have
greasy curls.
actually shaved his head, and then he looks a lot like his dad.
Yeah, because it made me think of Obadiah. But yeah, you're right. They completely. Then yeah, it would have been like father, like son.
Or they replaced it and put all his hair and glue it to his face, and then he has a beard just like his dad. Probably that's the reason. Sorry, I'll talk about my shit.
Please, no, go.
Probably that's why I like the fact that it wasn't just another Iron Man versus another tech person, because we've seen that so many times.
Yeah, we've seen that. Yeah.
3 times in 3 movies. It's like, come on, get over yourself. Let's do something else. And I kind of like that it's tech versus devil.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if Ezekiel had like gone down the magic route, made a deal with Stowe, that would have been interesting as well.
She did.
But yeah, Riri did, yes, but I mean Ezekiel maybe.
Ezekiel, yeah.
Yes, if in my version of yes. But yeah, I found it interesting that Ezekiel was then a slave to Parker essentially. That made for some really good comedy, I will say. Like the scene where him and Parker are walking into Parker's dad's mansion, and then he's doing that whole like I'm not in control, I'm sorry, like apologizing, and just like his face doesn't match what he's doing, and then
like, dude, we get it.
And then
have to apologize every time.
I liked it in the background though, like when Parker was up close to the camera, and in the background you could see Ezekiel just
walking
fighting people, and it's so over the top. I thought that was pretty funny. And the
cowboy cut of throwing this guy up in the air and like
yes. Yeah, it was great.
That made me chuckle.
Yeah, it was good. So yeah, I think he was used okay, and they're definitely they've set him up to bring him back.
Yeah.
Whenever that's going to be, who knows? I kind of want. It's weird for all the criticism I've hurled at this show. I kind of want to see a season 2 now, based on where we left off.
Yeah.
And to see where they're going to take these characters. I think, like
I'm not sure we're gonna get it, unfortunately.
No, I know.
Yeah.
No, it'll
But
probably be something else. But
it'll be something.
I
else,
think
know.
so.
with
Yeah.
these characters.
Yeah. But no, don't worry. I'm realistic. It would have been nice. It would be nice.
Yes, it would be.
If they could
Agatha
just continue
all
this
along
show.
Isn't necessarily a sequel to WandaVision.
Yeah, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
In a way. But then, like you mentioned, Mike, Vision Quest, that's going to be a sort of a sequel to Wanda and Agatha and probably Ironheart, maybe.
Maybe this one.
Yeah. Who knows? Time will tell. Any other Ezekiel thoughts from either of you? How are you feeling about how his character was handled?
I'm not sure about subduing him by being kneed in the nuts. That's probably my male bias showing.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, it was the only area that didn't get any kind of tech involved, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that's the only part of the fight that was great, maybe. I don't know.
So just knee me in the groin and it'll stop me. It'll stun me. I'm like, okay.
Well, Riri suggested it. And then he said, yeah, that makes sense. Just to get,
reluctantly.
Just to reboot it. It's like, oh, God, okay, hurry up.
Just do it.
No, I know how much that hurts.
Cool. Well, I just wanted to quickly touch on the addition of these witches in the show as well.
Yes.
That was kind of cool. Zelma in particular really liked. I thought she was a lot of fun. And her mum, played by a Creaser character, escapes me right now. Try and find it, but they were really cool. Like, I enjoyed them a bit. I can't.
Roz? No, that was.
Is it Roz? No.
No, what's her name's mum? Riri's mum.
That's Riri's mum. Yeah. Maybe it's in episode 6. No, maybe it was episode 4.
Angie?
Anyway.
So
Angie.
Ronnie? Yeah, Ronnie Williams.
Hang on.
So Angie White plays Ronnie Williams.
Okay, right. Yeah,
I'm assuming that's. I think it's her. No.
No, that would be the mum. So maybe if I can find. Yeah, Cree Summer, Madeline. That's the lady in the hat. That's Zelma's mum.
Oh.
That's who I'm talking about.
Yep.
One of the two witches I just.
Yes.
Yes. But I liked that reveal scene in the when they flipped into the other dimension. The Doctor Strange vibes and the mentions of Kamatage and how Madeline was a dropout.
Yeah. That was actually a surprise. I'm like, oh, Doctor Strange.
Strange. But then like the fact that Zelma's magic looked very much similar to Wanda's, like she definitely isn't as advanced as obviously because she's not, not of that level, but she's doing some of those hand movements and the red kind of mist and lines and things floating out. I just loved her whole vibe. Like her outfit was great. Even her intense glasses were great. Like I just, she was cool. I want to learn more about these characters at some
Yeah,
point.
same. I think
hope
so too. Same.
I hope they come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the fact that they played a role, you know, Riri's suit being infused with magic and all of that was cool. And we did just mention Riri's mum, Ronnie, but she handles all of this really well. And then I remember, oh yeah, we're in the MCU where like magical creatures and superheroes are for these people. So she's very well adjusted. She's just like, you didn't tell me about this? Okay, I've accepted it now. I'm over it. So
Nice.
yeah, it's fun.
Since when were you an actual witch?
Yeah. But my question I wanted to ask to you, before I throw it to you guys, is when they said Dormammu, did you think that was legit, or did you think it was a red herring? Because I was on the fence. I was like, okay, they're being very gung ho that it's Dormammu and no one's questioning it, but I also don't feel that it is Dormammu's influence here, and so I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. I think he's too big for something like this. But then again, we're dealing with the actual devil by the end, so that's also kind of big. But Fulia, what did you think when they said Dormammu? Did you believe it?
So you mean in the sense of like that he's the one that's telling Mephisto to do this stuff?
No, that he's no Mephisto, just Dormammu. It's Dormammu.
Just Dormammu's the one that's doing it.
Dormammu's because that's what they originally thought. They thought Dormammu was influencing Parker in the.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yes.
I was a bit skeptical on it, to be honest. When they mentioned it, I'm like, it doesn't seem like something that Dormammu would do. It just felt a little bit off because he would be for him. It's more of it's a bigger thing. He'd do bigger things rather than just this small thing. And I kind of so I was a bit skeptical about the whole Dormammu thing, but the name drop did perk my ears, and then I was thinking, like, especially with especially when they were talking about him. But the fact that Mephisto was in the room, but we didn't get his name until the end, it had me thinking, this guy has to be Mephisto or someone related in a way. But like I had this gut feeling, but I didn't want to I didn't want to believe that gut feeling that it was Mephisto. I'm like, no, they can't bring him in now after all this time.
Yeah.
And then when they said it at the end, I was like, okay, cool. I should have trusted my gut. But yeah, no, the whole Dormammu thing, I like you, Kendall, I was kind of on the fence about it all. I wasn't sure if I wanted to believe it or not. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair. That's fair. What about you, Mike? The Dormammu. What did you feel when you heard the name drop?
I think it was a red herring because you don't drop a Faustus reference without doing devil.
Exactly. Yeah. For sure.
I will just mention, if we go back, the witches.
Please. Yes. Go.
The mum. Madeline, I think.
Yes. Yeah, Madeline.
I was a bit chuffed seeing this person because I recognize her voice immediately. Because she does a lot of voiceover work.
She's predominantly a voice actress. Cree Summer, yes.
And I thought, ooh, Penny from Inspector Gadget. Or Rugrats or whatever.
Or Rugrats, or I think she's in Atlanta. Disney film. Like, she's done. Yeah. She's a prolific voice actress. Yeah.
Yeah, and Canadian.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah. So, I was a bit. It was like, oh, cool. It's like you don't necessarily know their face, but you do know do know their voice. It's like I'm trying to remember. I saw John DiMaggio in something not too long ago. It's like Bender from Futurama. Hey, it's that sort of thing. Yeah. So the devil's in the detail. I like the fact that they dropped it and just tried to throw your senses out.
Yeah.
Because even in the comics, the cloak is actually Dormammu's cloak.
Okay.
So even in the reading, it's Dormammu, and they changed it. I liked it. I like the fact, and then I don't know, maybe because everyone's ever since WandaVision going, oh, why don't we? Is it Mephisto? Is it Mephisto? And it's like, we didn't really plan for that. Okay, we'll have Mephisto in it. Nice. Did you see did you see his red face in the spoon?
Yeah, that was cool.
Yep. I was like, oh.
I like that.
Who does that as well? I think The Conjuring does that as well.
Yeah, Insidious.
Insidious,
There's a red-faced demon in Insidious in a very famous scene. He's not in any spoons really, but he's
Blinking
he
your
pops up unexpectedly.
Maybe it was a knife.
Hi guys. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Mephisto then. I need to issue a from the top of the show. Apparently it was just a rumor he was going to be in Agatha. It wasn't a thing.
No.
Jack Schaefer, who ran Agatha, confirmed that that was all speculation. Basically, the reason that came up and the reason Sacha Baron Cohen was like rumored or is supposed to be playing Mephisto at some point is because, as you mentioned, Mike, Ironheart's been in production hell for a few years. They were filming this in 2022, so so it had been on the internet for a while that Sacha was potentially going to be Mephisto. So it was because apparently he'd been registered as playing, I don't know. So it's just the whole thing. But yeah, no, not in Agatha all along. That was a rumor. But yeah, speaking of Sacha Baron Cohen,
name dropped.
he got they name dropped him in Agatha. Yes, they did. Anyway, yes, Sacha Baron Cohen, perfect. I'm enjoying his performance. I really hope we do get to see him again soon. Something, I don't know. Again, don't know what that's going to be, but I'll watch it, of course.
Wow.
I really liked what he did. I think the only thing I found strange was him switching out the accent. Like, I like the fact that he has sort of a Cockney British accent going on, but like the fact that he lured Parker in and Riri in with twang was interesting. I guess I kind of understand why, because Parker's sake especially, he had to lead him through. And like, is he going to trust someone who sounds, not that, you know, anyone with a British accent is untrustworthy, the opposite of saying, but it's like, for maybe from his perspective, and because Mephisto is the devil, he's a manipulator, so that's just kind of how I reckon, because otherwise I'm just like, why does he have two accents? He's just having a bit of fun. But yeah, I liked him a lot. I liked his scenes. I liked how he says, you know, like when they're like, what's the catch? He's like, you know, something missed. I think that's such a clever little like hint to like, oh no, it's a big thing. It's the biggest thing you have. Don't give it away for free. Yeah. So I really liked how he played it. I loved the long hair look and his whole vibe, and he has such charisma on screen. So yeah, I think he was having a lot of fun scenes where he got to be this character, and I liked it. Didn't feel campy or over the top. He went into this sort of demon voice either. I think it worked well enough to kind of sell who he is. And you don't want to fuck with him, I guess. But yeah, he pulled one over on Riri, so he's someone not to be trifled with. That's for sure.
Trifle.
Fulya, any thoughts on additional thoughts on Mephisto? What did you think of Sacha Baron?
So when we first encountered this character, I knew who he was in terms of who the actor was, but I couldn't for the life of me put it was on the tip of my tongue. What is his name? And I didn't want to look it up on IMDb for fear of spoilers. So I was like, I'm not looking it up, but I know who he is. It's Ali G. Name.
Yeah,
My
it's about that.
It's a Borat.
My brain just went to that.
Amazing.
So I knew who the actor was when we saw him, and I was like, this is cool. We get to see him do something a bit different compared to most of his like comedies and stuff that he's done. But also the fact that he was also in Alice, the live action Alice with it was like the second one where he plays like the clockwork guard or whatever it was. I completely forgot. So that was kind of cool. Alice in Wonderland. But yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto, great choice for casting. I was a little like it was a little jarring every time he changed from his accents.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, so for me as well, like I felt like it was just like, why was that a choice that they decided to go with? That he ended up doing that. Yeah, for whatever reason, it was a bit weird. However, just sort of the sinisterness in his voice came through really well, and just the way that he's like his wording when he's manipulating, Parker, Riri, it's very specific, and you can sort of tell in the words of the sentences. And was just like, okay, it's interesting that this is how he's saying some of this dialogue. But as a character, Mephisto is mysterious. He's a mysterious magician, but he's also very sinister. Like he's always like, whatever his ulterior motive is, it's always a way. It's just to cause chaos. I think it's just to cause chaos in the world. And yeah, it is a little creepy in a way when he does that sort of stuff. But then to see people succumb to his manipulation is also just like one of those moments of why. I thought Riri was smarter than Parker, at least. Yeah, look, I will give Riri the fact that she knew what he was doing, but she just went along with it anyway. That's what concerns me with Riri. But yeah, no, Mephisto is just, yeah, like we finally get to see him, we get to meet him, see what he's about. And yeah, I feel like he's going to be popping up everywhere on the MCU at some point in the future. Maybe in the films. I reckon he'll pop up in the films for sure. I'm just wondering whether he will pop up in like, I don't know if there's going to be another Doctor Strange. I don't know if he pop up there maybe, or maybe he'll pop up in the Vision. Well, the Vision, is that a series movie?
Vision Quest.
Vision Quest.
It's a series.
Yeah.
It's a series. Yeah.
It's a series. Yeah. Maybe he might pop up there. Who knows? But yeah, like interesting character. But finally glad the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the one other thing I also like is that when the characters do meet Mephisto, it's always in this pizza shop, in this diner. and he's always
It's
trying
fun.
to lure them with food. And he's like, "Come eat food."
Yeah, and the pizza looked really good too.
It really does.
It's the
I just
devil's
wanted,
pizza.
I wanted it.
Of course it
Yeah, I
looks.
wanted to eat the pizza. Yeah.
Probably tastes like heaven.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I like the fact that his go-to sanctuary, I suppose, is this pizza shop.
But isn't that the front for the gang?
It is, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So
The thing is,
he showed
though,
them the way.
yeah, the thing is, though, even though they're in that place, he makes it look lively, but in reality, it's actually like closed down, like it's shut
Empty.
down.
It's in the
Yeah,
front. In more ways than one.
exactly. Yeah, so that's why he's like his magic makes it looks like it's still up and
Yeah.
running and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's clever.
It also kind of creeped me out when he shushed the family across the other side when he was talking to Riri.
And then they just stare into nothing. Like,
Yeah, and Riri's just like, "Holy crap! Did you just do that?"
I love how Riri too is like when he's like, my name. Some, I have many names, but some, you get to hear my real name, and it's Mephisto. And then she's like, is that supposed to mean something to me? And I'm like, girl, have you not heard of Mephistopheles? I mean, come on. Jesus. Girl, use your brain. Anyway, she never read Dr. Faust.
She doesn't
Nope,
read. She doesn't read.
neither have
fiction.
I.
It's all
She
nonfiction.
doesn't. All
I
nonfiction
didn't
for
know.
her.
I didn't know that was the actual full name.
Oh yeah. Mephistopheles is
Mephistopheles.
Yes.
Okay.
It's another name for the devil.
He's
Yes.
Greek.
He gets around.
Mm.
Mike, any final comments from you on Mephisto before we start to wrap up? I think.
Yeah, I think we should
Maybe.
wrap up because I need to go to the toilet.
Same.
I will say, fun tidbit. I did like the fact that he actually changed accents as well, just to suit the
Nice.
Thing for the manipulation. It did remind me that Sacha Baron Cohen actually did the same thing in the Sweeney Todd movie. He was playing a character
Right.
that changed accents. He was French.
Okay.
He was like a French barber, and he was like, if anyone can show me up, I'll give them money and all that. And then when Sweetie Todd took him to town, took him to task, it's like, I know. And then he got him alone. It's like, I know who you are, and he changed accents. It's like, I'm going to blackmail you. And then spoiler alert, Sweetie Todd kills him. So there you go. Yeah, so that's my fun little tidbit for that. And I don't mind, he does do different accents. He's known for different sort of characters that he does. So it's kind of fitting as well as a good little adventure that he has. But if he starts doing, I am the devil, I don't think he's going to do that.
No, I don't think he's gonna over the top it in that way.
No.
Cool. Well, yeah. I mean, there is a whole thing with the whole Natalie AI thing situation, but yeah, we've kind of touched on. I don't really have too much to say. Like, the scene where she vanished was pretty harrowing to watch. Riri try to fastly download and try and save her and stuff, but it was good that they were able to use that to then build on her making a decision to make a deal with the devil.
That's why you need to back up your system.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
I thought Riri would have been smarter than that. She should know her tech.
Yeah. Yes. Well, she did say, she said tether my laptop. She didn't say backup, so I don't know. But I guess maybe, yeah, you're right. She didn't back her up because then she would have had to frantically.
She didn't back up.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and I liked how Natalie was able to show her and her mum like this really nice memory of young Riri with her stepdad. That was really cute too. I just wanted to mention that quickly before we finish. Yeah. So yeah, there's good stuff in Ironheart, definitely. I think now that we've discussed it and unpacked it a bit more, I think I do feel a little bit better about it than I did coming into this chat, so that's good. But yeah, it was so close to being excellent and just fell slightly short. But yeah, lots of potential and huge ramifications, as you've said, Mike, for the MCU going potentially. We will see. All right, shall we call it?
Called.
Okay, called. That's Popcorn Culture. That's Ironheart, episodes 5, 6. Hope you guys enjoyed our discussion. I definitely did. So yeah, the podcast is done, which means it's time to go.
Yes.
A 1, a 2, a 3.
And that
was a
was a
podcast,
podcast
called
Fred.
And remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky for the latest Fred content.
If you like to listen to Fred the Alien, you can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts.
If you'd like to watch Fred the Alien, you can head over to youtube.com/Fred the Alien Productions. And if you're watching us right now, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to be notified of future content. And if you're watching us live over on Twitch, make sure to give us a follow on the way out. Twitch.tv/Fred the Alien Twitch.
Yes, I've been Kendall Richardson.
I've been a Fulya and
And I've been the devil himself. Wow, devil, me 666, Michael Lister.
And you just experienced a podcast called Fred.
Remember to eat beef.
Remember, Freddy lives, Loki dies, the Doctor is in, and I am the cat in the hat, and I come back. No hater, something. To the toilet, blah blah blah.
Yes. Remember to look after yourself and your mental health and your bladders.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Laters, gators. And
See